Now, it's such a great pleasure for me to introduce you to a resident of the mission. She lives there, and she's going to be happy to share her story with us. Her name is Vivienne Roberts. Now, my name is Warner Roberts, so I'm assuming, though we haven't met, I assume that we're related. Are you here, Vivienne? Oh, good. Will you come up? If not really related, I know we're related in spirit. And we absolutely are thrilled that you're with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so very much for being here and for inviting me to share my story with you. My name is Vivienne. I am a miracle. At the Mission of Yahweh, I am also known as Miss V, Grandma V, Mama V, or just Mama. For despite a lifetime of uncertainty, poverty, and wandering, at the Mission of Yahweh, I have found a place where I feel worthy, a place where I can use my positive attitude and joyful spirit to help others, just as they guide, educate, and inspire me. At the mission, I have purpose and hope. My life wasn't always that way. When I was 18 months old, my mother walked off and left me. My maternal grandparents fostered me out to a poor relative who did not want me. I did not have what would be called an ideal foster home situation. However, through God's grace, when she went to work, my foster mother would leave me with a retired minister, Robert Amali, who lived down the road. Uncle Bobby taught me about God. He promised me that God would never stop loving me. Throughout my life, I have turned to this powerful message of hope. I was only 5 when I stood before the board of elders of Uncle Bobby's church and explained what I knew about salvation. Uncle Bobby had used the Bible to teach me how to read, so I used the Bible to teach them what was in my heart. To this day, I seek truth and guidance through the Word of God. I graduated from high school and went to work for the Bank of Nova Scotia. In those 19 years at the bank, I learned many skills and began to dream about my future. When the bank closed our branch, I found myself again jobless and vulnerable, a condition I had learned to manage. Throughout my childhood, I had always been sickly, often hospitalized with bouts of rheumatic fever and allergies. Doctors said that I would have a short life in a crippled body. I rarely complained or cried from the pain. When asked why, I would explain that crying did not help, and that smiling worked best for my attitude and for those who were around me. There is no way I would have made it through my life without my faith. Naive and desperate, I found my way to the United States and often fell into situations where those who promised to help me took advantage instead. From stealing my possessions to stealing what little money I earned as housekeeper, babysitter, and day worker. Despite the false promises and disappointments and mistreatments, I maintained a strong work ethic and found joy in whatever work I could find. This cycle brought me to the Mission of Yahweh, where I found acceptance, compassion, purpose, and family, things I had never had before and did not realize I craved. In this past year, I have depended on my Mission of Yahweh family and that same positive mindset while battling breast cancer. I was told I had 2 malignant cancers in my breast, one of which was metastatic, which means it always travels to different parts of your body. However, in my case, it did not. During my surgery, the doctors removed the cancers and the tissues around it, along with some lymph nodes. This was sent to the lab. When it came back, edges clean, meaning the cancer had not spread, the doctors assumed there had been an error. So they took more breast tissue and more lymph nodes. Those came back completely clean. There was no sign of cancer, but God. I was healed. It got to the point where every time I went to the doctor and a remark was made about my improvement, the staff would say, we know, but God. But as I always say, but God. I have had my share of meltdowns, my good and bad days, resulting from brutal surgeries and daily radiation treatments. But unlike the days of my youth, now I have even more reason to be courageous, even joyful. My fellow residents took turns helping me to shower, to dress, and to keep my room clean. The children made me get well cards, and the staff made sure I had the very best care and transportation to get me to my appointments. At the mission, I have found purpose. Like the other residents, I contribute by working, sometimes at the front desk, or simply helping to care for a child, sometimes giving tours, or just listening to and praying with my fellow residents who feel comfortable talking to me. I want to go into the neighborhoods, to be able to minister to people where they are, to help other women, mothers, and wives. I want them to know that they too can find grace and acceptance in God. I want them to hear about the power of faith, that same power I experienced at a recent retreat, where an old leg injury was healed by the power of God. The mission of Yahweh has helped me to believe in miracles and to find my personal mission to sweeten the lives of others, to mother mothers and the motherless. I was born in April 1961. In that very same year, the mission opened its doors. All my life, I had heard a still small voice within me assuring me that a place had been prepared for me. At the mission of Yahweh, I found that place. I found God, integrity, love, and peace. These are just a few of the miracles that I have experienced through my life. My name is Vivienne. I am a miracle. Thank you.